An ancient Chinese myth tells Chinese mythology is a convoluted tradition dating back thousands of years. It includes many legends and stories about gods, heroes, demons, and mythical creatures. These stories are deeply rooted in Chinese culture and have been passed down from generation to generation. There are many deities in Chinese myths, each with its own history and characteristics. In today's video, we will learn about the main deities of Chinese mythology. Yuhuang is the supreme ruler of heaven in Chinese mythology, also known as the Jade Emperor. He is one of the most important gods in the Chinese pantheon and is often depicted with a white beard and a long golden robe. Yuhuang is responsible for maintaining order in the universe and ensuring that human beings live according to virtue and justice. He is invoked in prayers and religious ceremonies and is considered a symbol of peace, stability, and prosperity. Yuhuang is also responsible for judging the souls of the dead and deciding their fate after death. He is often associated with other gods and mythological figures, including the gods of creation, Fuxi and Yuhua. Yuhuang is also one of the patron gods of the martial arts, venerated by practitioners seeking protection and guidance. Fuxi is one of the oldest gods in Chinese mythology, considered one of the three that helped in creating the world. According to legend, Fuxi was responsible for teaching humans basic survival skills, including fishing, hunting, farming, and medicine. He is also credited with the invention of Chinese writing, which was supposedly inspired by marks he saw on the back of a turtle. Fuxi is primarily associated with the concepts of duality and balance in Chinese philosophy. He is often depicted with a snake wrapped around his body, symbolizing harmony between opposites. Fuxi is also regarded as the great protector of couples and families, and is worshipped in wedding and birth ceremonies. He is one of the most revered gods in Chinese tradition, and is adored in temples and shrines throughout China. Nuwa is an important goddess in Chinese mythology. According to legend, she is responsible for creating humanity from yellow clay, giving it the ability to reproduce and grow as a species. She is credited with establishing the world and repairing the pillars of heaven when they fell down. Nuwa is often depicted as a beautiful woman with a human body and a serpent's tail. She is associated with duality and balance in Chinese philosophy. She is called upon in prayers and religious ceremonies for protection and blessings for couples and families. Besides her attachment to creation, Nuwa is considered a goddess of justice and virtue, and is invoked to help resolve disputes and conflicts. She is also considered a benevolent and compassionate figure who cares deeply about the welfare of human beings. Shenong is one of the strongest gods in Chinese mythology, associated with medicine and healing plants. He is considered one of the three kings who helped create Chinese civilization, depicted as a man with an ox or dragon head. According to legend, Shenong is the creator of traditional Chinese medicine, and is credited with discovering many medicinal plants and developing techniques for agriculture and plant cultivation. He is invoked in prayers and religious ceremonies for healing and protection against diseases and plagues. Shenong is also considered a protector of farmers and gardeners. Shenong died because of his research into the properties of plants, using his own body. He ate the yellow flower of a weed that poisoned him, not having time to drink the antidote. Guanyin is one of the most popular deities in Chinese mythology, considered the goddess of mercy and compassion. She is depicted as a female figure with multiple arms, symbolizing her ability to save many people simultaneously. Guanyin is considered a benevolent and compassionate figure, always willing to help those who suffer. She is commonly invoked in prayers and religious ceremonies to ask for help and guidance in difficult situations. She is seen as the protector of the sick, the poor, and the needy. Besides her merciful and compassionate nature, Guanyin is also associated with fertility, and is seen as the protector of pregnant women and children. She is an extremely popular figure in Chinese tradition, and is worshipped in temples and shrines throughout China and other parts of the world. Chang'e is an important goddess in Chinese mythology, associated with the moon. She is depicted as a beautiful woman wearing a jade tiara. According to legend, Chang'e fell in love with the mortal archer, Hou Yi. The skilled bowman was tasked with protecting the world against the attack of 10 firebirds that burnt everything in their path. Hou Yi shot down 9 birds, but pardoned one to serve as the sun that illuminates and warms our world. As a reward, Hou Yi was given the potion of immortality by the gods. One day, Chang'e could not resist her curiosity and peeked into what her husband had kept. She found the potion and ingested it whole. As a result, she flew into the moon, where she lives to this day in an ice palace. Her only company is the moon rabbit, charged with concocting the elixir of immortality for the gods. Legong is the god of thunder and lightning in Chinese mythology. He is considered a divine judge, in charge of punishing those who violate laws and ethical principles. Legong is depicted as an imposing man, wearing a red robe and carrying an iron hammer. He is often summoned in religious ceremonies to ask for justice and protection against the violation of laws and ethics. Since Legong's power is thunder, he has attendants capable of producing other celestial phenomena. Legong's wife, named Dianmu, is the goddess of lightning, who is said to have used shining mirrors to send lightning across the sky. Legong is often depicted in Chinese art and literature. He is an important symbol of justice and ethics, respected and worshipped by many devotees throughout the country. Wangmu, also known as the Queen Mother of the West, is one of the oldest and most revered deities in Chinese mythology. She is associated with immortality, healing, and longevity. She is considered a benevolent and compassionate figure. Wangmu is depicted as a beautiful and elegant woman, dressed in long robes and a hat with phoenix feathers. She is seen as the guardian of nature's secrets, able to grant immortality and healing to those who revere her. According to Chinese mythology, Wangmu resides in the Kunlun Mountains, a sacred mountain in northern China. She is sometimes portrayed as the leader of the immortals. Her palace is believed to be a perfect and all-comprehensive paradise, the meeting place of the deities, and a cosmic pillar for communications between deities and humans. Naja is a unique figure in Chinese mythology, associated with protection, courage, and loyalty. He is depicted as a young warrior or even as a child with magical powers and superhuman abilities, such as controlling fire and wind. According to Chinese mythology, Naja's mother gave birth to a ball of flesh after a 3-year and 6-month pregnancy. The ball of flesh opened, and, instead of a baby, Naja emerged as a talking and walking boy. When Naja killed the third son of the Dragon King of the East Sea, he and his family became the targets of the dragon's vengeance. Naja eventually took his own life to save his family. Naja is a champion of the innocent and oppressed, and is invoked in religious ceremonies for protection and courage. Sun Wukong is the famous Monkey King from Chinese mythology. He is a central character in the classic Chinese novel, The Journey to the West, written during the Ming Dynasty. In the story, Sun Wukong is born of a magic stone and is trained by a Taoist master to become a powerful fighter and martial arts master. He rebels against the gods and becomes the Monkey King on Mount Huaguo. In an attempt to curb his rebellious behavior, the gods invited him to participate in an expedition in search of the sacred scriptures in western China. Sun Wukong accepts the offer, but causes much trouble during the journey. On this adventure, Sun Wukong faces numerous enemies, including demons, monsters, and other gods. He uses his wit and magical abilities to overcome his opponents, becoming a legendary hero in Chinese mythology.
Chinese culture is filled with remarkable legends containing profound wisdom. One of the most well-known stories is that of the 3 laughing monks. These were Zen Buddhist monks who roamed around China while practicing their faith, and often found themselves laughing. They would visit the centers of cities and villages and begin to laugh uncontrollably. Initially, the onlookers found the sight of 3 laughing monks to be peculiar and perhaps even absurd. However, the infectious nature of their laughter quickly spread, and before long, everyone was laughing along with them. The monks then left that cheerful location and proceeded towards the next town. After gaining fame, whenever the monks would approach a village, the sound of their laughter could be heard from a distance, making the locals smile. The news of the sudden death of one of the monks quickly spread, prompting a rush of people to the town center to witness the reaction of the 2 remaining monks. Instead of weeping and wailing, the 2 monks were laughing even harder than usual. When asked about their laughter in that situation, the monks explained that, during the previous night, the old monk had suggested a bet on which monk would pass away first. He had confidence in himself and carried a will in his pocket. In it, he requested that his robes not be changed before his cremation, at odds with traditional practices. Due to his laughter, he never allowed the filth of the world to affect him. As the monk's body was engulfed by the burning funeral pyre, fireworks concealed in his robes erupted, captivating and delighting the onlookers. The tale of the 3 monks is a tribute to the power of laughter and joy, essential components of the human experience. According to the teachings of the laughing monks, it is crucial to maintain a sense of humor and happiness, no matter what challenges life may bring. Despite facing death, which is the saddest and most inevitable situation in life, they choose to laugh, proving that joy can be present in any circumstance.
One ancient Chinese tale goes that the Emperor of Heaven once decided to summon 8 mortal beings to be guardians of the balance between heaven and earth. These extraordinary individuals were initially ordinary people who, having completed different tasks and challenges, won the gods' attention and were rewarded with immortality. In Chinese mythology, Lu Dongbin is one of the 8 mortals and is often considered the leader or most prominent among them. Lu Dongbin was originally a scholar and swordmaster who lived during the Tang Dynasty. He was renowned for his martial arts skills, but despite his achievements, he felt an inner void and sought a deeper meaning in life. While walking in the mountains one day, Lu Dongbin met an old sage immortality. He Xiangu, otherwise known as Queen Mother of the West, is among the 8 immortals in Chinese mythology. According to legend, a heavenly messenger appeared to He Xiangu while she was at home, presenting her with a magical peach. By eating it, He Xiangu became immortal. She is often portrayed as a beautiful woman, dressed in white, holding a lotus flower. He Xiangu is associated with virtues such as purity, healing, and compassion. Zhang Guolao is also a member of the 8 immortals, renowned for his mystical arts skills and his quest for immortality. He is often depicted as an old man riding a donkey and carrying a magic drum. Zhang Guolao was a philosopher, strategist, and alchemist. He devoted his life to the quest for immortality, studying alchemy and magic. Zhang Guolao is believed to have achieved immortality when he found a special technique for preserving life. He developed the ability to fold his pet donkey as if it were a scroll, allowing him to conveniently carry the animal. This became a distinguishing feature of Zhang Guolao in traditional representations. The other remarkable detail of Zhang Guolao is his magic drum. He could play it to accomplish extraordinary feats, such as flying through the sky or predicting the future. Lan Caihe is renowned for her joyful nature, eccentric behavior, and mystical abilities. She is often represented as an androgynous figure among the 8 mortals, dressed unkemptly, carrying a gourd and a bamboo flute. Originally, Lan Caihe was a wandering mendicant with a cheerful and carefree demeanor. One version of the story describes Lan Caihe as a young woman, while other versions describe her gender identity as more fluid, stressing her androgyny. As legend has it, Lan Caihe attained immortality in a unique way. She once shared her wisdom with a scholar who questioned her veracity as a spiritual being. As proof of her transcendental nature, Lan Caihe simply flew into the sky, taking off her earthly garments. Lan Caihe blows her bamboo flute to spread joy and inspiration. She carries a gourd, which is often associated with a magical vessel holding the essence of life and immortality. One of the 8 immortals in Chinese mythology, Zhongli, is well known for his alchemical skills, his contributions to medicine, and his search for immortality. He is often portrayed as an old man carrying a fan, and in some representations, holding a magic pot. Zhongli was originally a government official during the Han Dynasty. Dejected by the corruption and injustice he had witnessed, he quit his post and began to search for spiritual truth and immortality. The tale goes that, during his quest, Zhongli encountered a master alchemist who tutored him in transmutation and alchemy. He found a magical pot containing the elixir of immortality. This was said to be watched over by a fierce guardian, but Zhongli succeeded in overcoming the challenges and obtaining the elixir. By drinking it, he achieved immortality. He also acquired the ability to revive the dead using his magic fan, symbolizing his dominion over life and death. Cao Guojiao is one of Chinese mythology's 8 immortals, famous for his story of renunciation, compassion, and spiritual fulfillment. Originally a nobleman during the Song Dynasty, his story often brings out his journey of renouncing power for the sake of a more spiritual life. Cao Guojiao was a member of the imperial family and occupied a prominent position at court. He was known for his honesty and righteousness, but his life turned around when he encountered corruption in his own family. His older brother was engaged in illegal activities, and Cao Guojiao was appalled by it. Not wanting to be complicit in his brother's actions, Cao Guojiao opted to renounce his office and his noble position. He decided to become a Buddhist monk, devoting himself to a life of renunciation and service to those in need. During his spiritual journey, legend has it that Cao Guojiao attained immortality through spiritual practices and meditation. He is often associated with a fan, symbolizing his search for truth and wisdom. Han Xiangzi is seen in Chinese mythology as one of the 8 immortals who personified joy, eternal youth, and the spiritual quest through music. He is known for his eternal youth and cheerful nature. He is often depicted as an attractive and elegantly dressed young man, holding a sandalwood flute. The story goes that when Han Xiangzi was playing his flute on the banks of the Han River, his melodies could enchant even celestial beings. He found his way to immortality through several spiritual experiences. One version of the story was him meeting Lu Dongbin, another of the 8 immortals, who mentored him in his quest for spiritual transcendence. Li Tieguai is one of the 8 immortals in Chinese mythology, renowned for his unique appearance and medical abilities. He is frequently portrayed as a lame man, with a wooden leg and a scruffy appearance. Despite his distinctive physical appearance, Li Tieguai was considered a sage and a healer. He was originally a gifted physician during the Tang Dynasty. One day, when on a spiritual journey, he met Lao Tzu, an important figure in Taoism. Lao Tzu noticed Li Tieguai's commitment and kindness and offered him an immortality elixir. Before leaving, Lao Tzu asked him to keep it and assured him that he would eventually return to his body. While Li Tieguai was in a state of deep meditation, his body was suddenly destroyed by an accidental fire. To pursue his quest of immortality, Li Tieguai transferred his soul into the body of a limp beggar. Owing to their different origins and the eras in which they lived, the 8 immortals were finally reunited in the Celestial Kingdom after a few centuries. Having gathered, they decided to descend from the Celestial Kingdom to explore the mortal world. The journey started in the majestic Kunlun Mountains, where He Xianggu, the Queen Mother of the West, handed out immortality peaches to her fellows. With laughter and joy, the 8 immortals embarked on their pilgrimage across China's immense territories. The 8 immortals faced epic challenges and adventures together. In one instance, they were tasked with defeating a dragon that threatened to destroy crops and attack villages. Using their skills in combination, the immortals protected the island, locking the dragon in a deep lake. On another occasion, the 8 immortals confronted an evil magician who wanted to darken the sun. Lu Dongbin, with his divine sight, spotted the sorcerer and, with the concerted might of the 8 immortals, prevented darkness from overtaking the earth. The other legend has it that the 8 immortals joined forces to rout a demonic horde that invaded the famous Shaolin Temple. Using their unique abilities, they brought peace and serenity to the sacred temple. Their journeys went on for decades, and with each step, the 8 immortals created a footprint of wisdom, compassion, and magic. Their names became legendary, held in reverence throughout the kingdom. When they finally decided to return to the Celestial Kingdom, their influence lingered on, and the stories of their adventures were recounted again and again, inspiring future generations to pursue the divine on their own journeys. The 8 immortals left a legacy of goodness and splendor that would echo throughout eternity. A long time ago, along the Yangtze River, in the bustling city of Hangzhou, the magical legend of the white snake, known as Bai Niangzi, flourished. The white serpent, with pearl-like scales, had a heavenly beauty that hypnotized anyone who saw it. One night in spring, under the moon's silvery light, the white serpent changed into a gorgeous woman called Bai Su Zhen. She was walking along the riverbank, wrapped in a white dress that fluttered like the morning mist. Then, she met a young Taoist student called Xu Xian. The boy was captivated by the charming woman and, not knowing her true nature, fell hopelessly in love with her. Bai Suzhen was then enthralled by the young man's charms. The pair married, sealing their union with vows of eternal love. This supernatural story, however, caught the attention of a Taoist monk called Fa Hai. He realized Bai Suzhen's true identity and, concerned about Xu Xian's fate, cautioned him about his wife's nature. While initially skeptical, Xu Xian started to grow suspicious of his wife's secrets. Fearing that the truth would break them apart, Bai Suzhen then tried to keep her past veiled. But Fa Hai, intent on protecting Xu Xian, plotted to get him away from the white serpent. With powerful magic, Fa Hai unleashed a powerful storm during the important Qingming festival, held at the beginning of April to honor the dead. The tempest led to a massive flood in the West Lake, and the white serpent was dragged through the rough waters and trapped with magical chains under the Leifeng Pagoda. Shattered by the loss of his sweetheart, Xu Xian never gave up looking for her. For years, Bai Suzhen remained imprisoned, but the love between her and Xu Xian surpassed time and space. Together, with a powerful Taoist disciple called Xiaoqing, the white serpent succeeded in breaking the prison's magical chains. Upon their reunion, Xu Xian and Bai Suzhen showed that true love was immortal. Xu Xian, Bai Suzhen, and Xiaoqing joined forces and faced the monk Fa Hai in an epic showdown, where the monk finally grasped the depth of the love between the white serpent and the young student. The white serpent legend then became a eulogy to the power of love that surpasses supernatural challenges and endures through the ages. ability to emulate sounds, Wukong not only learned the monkey's language, but also began to perfect it. He was soon not only speaking use language as a tool to connect and inspire his companions. It took no time for him to stand out among the monkeys due to his acute wit and unusual abilities. He showed remarkable problem-solving perspicacity, whether it was finding new and safe paths through the woods or inventing complex games that fascinated his friends. His quick reasoning and ability to pick up things fast were obvious in every aspect of his life among the apes. He also exhibited extraordinary physical prowess, pulling off acrobatic feats that left everyone in awe. It was his astute mind, however, that really set him apart. Wukong understood the laws of nature and used this knowledge to his benefit, anticipating events and avoiding dangers. Noticing his exceptional gifts, the monkey community started to look to Wukong not just as a member, but as a natural leader, capable of guiding them through the trials of wildlife. While exploring, Sun Wukong made a discovery that would change the fate of all the monkeys on the Flowers and Fruit Mountain. He stumbled across a secret passage, hidden behind an awe-inspiring waterfall, which led to a beautiful place, a peaceful, protected sanctuary, ideal for monkeys to live in. This gateway was not only a safe refuge, but also symbolized a doorway to new possibilities. Wukong sensed that this finding could be the key to a better future for his community. He promptly shared his discovery with the other monkeys, who were overwhelmed by the beauty and safety of the place. Finding the secret passage brought Sun Wukong to new heights of honor among the apes. Acknowledging his exceptional abilities and dedication to the group's well-being, they decided to crown him as their king. The coronation was a joyous event, celebrated with fruit, dancing, and singing, reflecting the community's joy and togetherness. As king, Wukong not only guarded and led the monkeys, but also instilled an atmosphere of cooperation and happiness. He urged each member to contribute their own skills, strengthening the community. Wukong ruled with wisdom and compassion, always attentive to the needs of his subjects. His coronation heralded the dawn of an era of prosperity and peace on the Flowers and Fruit Mountain, under Sun Wukong, the Monkey King's wise and caring leadership. As the new monarch, he set to work on structuring his kingdom. Having an unobstructed vision, he began by establishing simple but binding laws, ensuring order and mutual respect among the monkeys. His leadership was a blend of wisdom and justice, bringing about a place where every monkey had a role and was valued. Wukong was seen to encourage collaboration, believing that the monkeys' unity was essential for the kingdom's success. He put together working groups for different tasks, from gathering wood to maintaining the territory. Not only that, but he introduced regular sessions where the monkeys could share ideas and concerns, reinforcing a sense of community and belonging. Under his leadership, Flowers and Fruit Mountain became a true shrine of peace and prosperity. There was harmony, and the monkeys enjoyed a full life, steeped in joy and constant learning. Sun Wukong's kingdom became an example of balance and happiness, where each monkey felt its place and purpose. Now a revered and well-loved king, Sun Wukong began to consider deeper questions about existence. One night, while watching the stars, he pondered the fleeting nature of life. Perceiving that all beings, including the monkeys he so dearly loved, were destined to grow old and die, Wukong experienced a disquiet grow in his heart. Mortality, a concept that had been so far removed from him, became a palpable concern. Wukong started to question the purpose of his efforts and achievements, if, in the end, everything would fade away with time. This insight into life's transience awakened a fervent desire to him, to find a way to transcend the limits of mortality. Wrapped up in these musings, Wukong decided that he needed to find a solution. Not only did he wish immortality for himself, but he also longed to provide his subjects with a way to escape the inevitable cycle of life and death. With a heart bursting with hope and courage, Wukong went about preparing for his life's greatest journey. After he had taken the Monkey Kingdom, Sun Wukong was constantly restless. because he could not stop thinking about the impermanence of life and the inevitability of death. This realization awakened in him an intense longing for immortality. He set out to overcome the limits of mortal existence. Wukong saw the quest for immortality to protect himself and his kingdom from the harsh forces of time. He recognized that the journey would be strenuous and fraught with unthinkable challenges, but his will was unwavering. Armed with fierce determination, Wukong set out on the most important journey of his life, where he would defy the very limits of the realm of possibility and the known in search of eternity. Sun Wukong set out to explore unknown lands, mystical mountains, and ancient forests, each site offering unique lessons. During his journey, he met wise hermits, learned from the natural elements, and watched the stars to understand the mysteries of the cosmos. With each step he learned, each experience was a gateway to a deeper understanding of life and the universe. Wukong sought not only the wisdom to reach immortality, but also a deeper understanding of himself and the world around him. Throughout his journey, Sun Wukong met several spiritual cultivators, people devoted to the art of improving the soul and mind through ancient practices. These encounters showed him various techniques of meditation, alchemy, and spiritual disciplines. The Monkey King was particularly moved by the peacefulness of the death of these cultivators, living in harmony with the universe. He learned from them the importance of internal balance and continuous spiritual development. With their skills and knowledge, these spiritual masters played a crucial role in Wukong's development into a spiritually evolved being. Upon meeting Subhuti, a renowned Taoist master, Sun Wukong saw him as the ideal guide to achieving immortality, but Subhuti refused to accept him as a disciple. He questioned Wukong's commitment and ability to follow the strict and disciplined Tao path. Subhuti noticed that the Monkey King had an untamed and impulsive spirit, traits which, in his view, were at odds with Taoism's profound teachings. Defied by this rejection, Sun Wukong did not give up. He decided to remain close to Subhuti, proving through his actions and persistence in his dedication to learning. Wukong embraced a humble and patient attitude, practicing meditation and Taoist doctrines on his own, revealing his determination and will to evolve. His dedication impressed Subhuti, who eventually recognized Wukong's potential and honesty, taking him on as a disciple. With Subhuti's guidance, Sun Wukong delved into Taoism, absorbing its principles and practices. He studied the balance of yin-yang, or yin and yang, the significance of emptiness, and the connection between microcosm and the macrocosm. Wukong applied these teachings passionately, seeking to bring himself into harmony with the Tao, the universe's fundamental force. Through years of diligent practice, Sun Wukong mastered the 72 transformations, which allowed him to take on any form, from animals and insects to natural elements. This mastery provided the Monkey King with the versatility and ability to escape or face any situation. He also perfected the Jin Dao Yun ability, or Jin Dou Yun, the golden cloud that allowed him to travel great distances in a flash. Together with these skills, Wukong finally achieved the longed-for immortality. Using a combination of spiritual practices, Taoist alchemy, and rigid discipline, he transcended mortal limits. Wukong had become immune to all diseases and poisons, and his physical body was impervious to ordinary damage. The Monkey King had achieved his victory over death. Being immortal brought a new perspective to Sun Wukong. He came to see life and the universe in a broader way, comprehending the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of harmony and balance. The Monkey King, Sun Wukong, finally returned to the Flowers and Fruit Mountain after a years-long absence in his quest for immortality, bringing with him a wide range of supernatural knowledge and skills. His comeback was greeted with boundless joy and admiration by his simian subjects, who accepted him back as their much-loved and respected leader. Wukong used his new knowledge and powers to fortify and improve his kingdom. He applied innovative cultivation techniques, taught the apes more effective methods of harvesting food, and established more complex defense systems against his people's enemies. He also promoted education and spiritual development among his people, encouraging them to seek balance and harmony with nature. The monkeys started to live in peace and prosperity, enjoying their immortal king's wisdom and protection. The flowers in Fruit Mountain became a refuge of happiness and knowledge. But the Monkey King was ambitious and knew that a king would need a weapon that matched his power. So, he set off in search of the Jinggu Bang, a magical staff of immense strength. It was an indestructible piece of heavenly material. However, it was located deep within the Dragon King's realm. But no obstacle was beyond reach for the strong-willed Monkey King, who traveled to the bottom of the ocean to find the weapon hidden in the Dragon Palace of the East Sea. He decided to own the magic staff, not only as a means of increasing his personal glory, but also to use it to protect his kingdom and uphold order. When he arrived at the Dragon Palace, Sun Wukong was presented with a monumental challenge. It was an underwater fortress, protected by powerful creatures and magical incantations. Inside the palace, Sun Wukong asked the Dragon King for Jinggu Bang. He had no intention of handing over the artifact, but attempted to discourage Wukong, who seemed very adamant, by offering him other magnificent weapons and relics. However, Wukong was not persuaded by the Dragon King and refused his offer. Underestimating the Monkey King's abilities, the Dragon King took Wukong to the place where the Jinggu Bang was kept. The staff looked like a gigantic metal pillar that was supporting the ocean. Removing the pillar from its position seemed an impossible task, but when Wukong approached it, the staff began to glow, showing that it recognized Wukong as its master. Sun Wukong easily pulled the Jinggu Bang over his head, astonishing the Dragon King and his underwater court. Showing his supreme control over the weapon, the Monkey King shrunk it to the size of a needle and tucked it behind his ear. The Dragon King ordered his subjects to capture him. However, with his numerous skills and magnificent astuteness, Wukong fought off and defeated the Dragon King's countless warriors. The Monkey King now had a weapon to match his extraordinary abilities. Yet, by defeating the Dragon King's hordes, Wukong drew the attention of the heavenly gods to himself. They came to see him as a possible threat to the entire established order, and something had to be done to contain him. After getting the Jinggu Bang staff, the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, made a name for himself not only in the earthly realm, but also among the heavenly gods. But his growing power and influence were causing discomfort in the celestial courts. Worried about Wukong's power and independence, the gods decided that they needed to curb this seemingly untamed individual. Under the leadership of the Jade Emperor, the gods offered the Monkey King an honorary position, but this title was only granted to him to subdue Wukong. In heaven, he was given the title of Protector of the Horses, a rank that Wukong soon learned to be meaningless. Having been insulted and belittled, Wukong rebelled, declaring himself Great Sage, Heaven's equal. This affront triggered a turmoil in the heavens, and the Jade Emperor summoned a celestial army to capture Wukong. The battle between the Monkey King and the heavenly forces was nothing short of breathtaking. With the Jinggu Bang, Wukong fought with a ferocity and skill that astonished the gods. None of the heavenly warriors, not even the most powerful, could subdue him. Noticing that they could not defeat him by force, the heavenly gods turned to ingenuity. Lao Tzu, the great sage and founder of Taoism, devised a plan to capture Wukong. While the Monkey King was fighting, he asked for Buddha's help to arrest him. Inebriated by the battle, Wukong was drawn to the pillar. Believing he was another challenger, Wukong went over and touched it. As soon as he did, the pillar turned into a gigantic mountain, and Buddha pressed it firmly down on the Monkey King. He explained to Wukong that the mountain was his transfigured hand, and that the Monkey King was now trapped under the five-element mountain, a spiritual seal that neutralized his power. Realizing the pointlessness of his resistance, Wukong surrendered himself. Under the mountain, Sun Wukong was forced to reflect on his actions and the arrogant path he had taken to get himself into that situation. Years passed, and the world moved on. But the Monkey King's legend, the fearless warrior who challenged the heavens, spread throughout the world. Meanwhile, on the flowers in Fruit Hill, the monkeys longed for their king. They told stories of his adventures, and hoped for his return. The legend of Wukong inspired many to seek courage and strength in challenging times. His legacy, while tainted by rebellion, was a symbol of resilience and defiance of authority. But this is not how the story of the mighty Monkey King ends. Years later, Wukong's tale would take a new turn. He would be freed on the condition that he served the monk Tang Sanzang on his mission, and this epic adventure would become known as the Journey to the West. A young girl called Lin Moniang once lived in a coastal village in Fujian province, washed by the blue waters of the East China Sea. From an early age, she had a deep connection with the sea. Her eyes appeared to harbor the mysteries of the ocean's depths, and her dark hair rippled like waves. She could detect the rage of storms even before they had formed, and predict the abundance of fish with impressive accuracy. Lin Moniang was the seventh daughter of a modest fisherman named Lin Yuan. Her mother had died in childbirth, which left an immeasurable void in Lin Yuan's heart. But she found a glimmer of hope in his daughter. The little girl was unlike other children. She spent hours watching the waves, playing with the shells, and chatting with the fishermen, learning about their secrets and the sea's dangers. Regardless of her youth, Lin Moniang was revered as a kind of oracle by the locals. Her kind heart led her to devote herself to caring for the sick and needy, curing ailments with the simple touch of her delicate hands. On a dark and stormy night, when the sea waves were raging and the wind was roaring like a demon, the 16-year-old Lin Moniang had a prescient vision in her sleep. A fishing boat, carrying her father and two of her older brothers, was drifting in the sea, suffering from a storm. The young woman was startled awake and ran to the beach, where she found out that the vision was not just a dream, but that her family was in real danger. Led by an unexplainable inner force, Lin Moniang rose to the top of a hill and, with her mystical powers, unknown to her until then, soothed the raging waves, saving the lives of her family. News of this extraordinary feat spread quickly, and Lin Moniang's fame soon extended all along the coast. Fishermen and sailors came to her for protection and guidance, and, with her compassion and wisdom, she led them safely through rough seas. But Lin Moniang's spiritual efforts took their toll. Her fragile body succumbed to exhaustion as she was overcome by the energy of the storm she had tamed, falling sicker and sicker as the days went by. Following Lin Moniang's death, the villagers were overwhelmed with sadness and admiration. Acknowledging her outstanding achievements and her devotion to the well-being of others, they decided to honor her as a deity. Lin Moniang ascended to heaven and became the goddess Ma-Zu, protector of sailors and fishermen. Temples were built in her honor along the coast, where sailors and travelers sought her patronage and protection before venturing out into the rough ocean waters. To this day, the goddess Ma-Zu continues to be a key figure in Chinese culture and religion. Her temples draw millions of devotees every year who seek her blessing and protection. Her story breathes faith, hope, and the belief that, even in the face of life's storms, divine strength guides and protects us. Once upon a time, in an ancient and distant era, the earth was subject to the tyranny of 10 suns, burning crops and devastating the people with hunger and suffering. One fearless hero, named Hou Yi, a legendary skillful archer, was called upon the Jade Emperor, the supreme deity of the Chinese pantheon, to solve this crisis. Using his bow made from an ancient tree's wood and arrows of phoenix feathers, Hou Yi tackled the fiery suns. He knocked them out of the sky, one by one, leaving only an existing sun to warm and brighten the earth. To acknowledge his heroism, the Jade Emperor presented Hou Yi with an immortality potion. A wise man, Hou Yi opted not to take the potion straight away. He deeply loved his wife, Chang'e, and knew that immortality could separate them. He decided instead to save her for the uncertain future. But ambition and envy had seeped into his circle of friends. Guiyang, one of Hou Yi's disciples, wanted the immortality potion. Having set his sights on it, he plotted a cunning plan. While Hou Yi was absent, Guiyang attempted to steal the potion, but Chang'e, perceiving his evil intentions, grabbed and drank it. Her body immediately began to glow with an ethereal light, and she ascended into the heavens, leaving behind a desperate and grief-stricken husband. Once she reached the moon, Chang'e used her newly acquired powers to construct a majestic crystal palace. Despite her misfortune, Chang'e met a jade rabbit who had been living on the moon since the beginning of time. The two formed a friendly bond, and the rabbit moved into the Crystal Palace and was tasked with concocting the immortality elixir for the goddess. Once Hou-yi returned and found out what had happened, he was heartbroken. He vowed to find a way to meet his beloved, no matter what the cost. Undeterred, Hou-yi began an epic journey in search of his wife, trekking to the ends of the earth and beyond. He faced mythical creatures, surmounted impossible challenges, and crossed the very gates of heaven. Eventually, Hou-yi reached the moon, where he found Chang'e. She lived there in solitude, bathing in the silver light of the celestial satellite. While they were together again, Chang'e's immortality meant that they were eternally separated by Hou-yi's mortality. During the moon festival every year, people on Earth look up to the sky, offering mooncakes as a tribute to Chang'e and her tragic love story. This is how the legend of Chang'e and Hou-yi lives on forever, remembering the beauty and sadness of true love. The four heavenly symbols, otherwise known as the four guardians, are important symbols in Chinese mythology and astrology. They stand for the directions of the compass, the seasons, and the elements of nature, and have been absorbed into several cultural, religious, and esoteric practices over the centuries. Each of these mythological entities represents a direction in the world and is associated with a specific color, element, season, and even specific virtues. The azure dragon of the east, known as Qinglong in Mandarin, is one of the four mythological creatures in Chinese cosmology, representing the cardinal points. This legendary being holds a significant role in Chinese culture, mythology, and astrology, symbolizing power, strength, and nobility. The azure dragon is connected to spring, the season of rebirth and growth. It stands for the budding energy, the awakening of life after winter, and the promise of abundance. The dragon is often seen in Chinese culture as a symbol of imperial power and authority. In particular, the azure dragon is regarded as the guardian of the east, warding off evil and evil spirits. As with other dragons in Chinese mythology, the Qinglong is viewed as a being of great wisdom and knowledge. While the azure dragon's main element is wood, it is also associated with water, capable of calling down rain. This is particularly important for agriculture, cementing its role as a symbol of prosperity and renewal. The azure dragon features strongly in Chinese culture, impacting art, literature, feng shui, and even spatial and architectural organization. For instance, in feng shui, it is considered essential to protect and accentuate the east side of a property, or space, to harmonize with the energy of the azure dragon, promoting the health, prosperity, and growth of the inhabitants. The vermilion bird of the south, known as Zhu Que in Mandarin, is one of the four mythological creatures worshipped in Chinese culture, representing one of the four cardinal points. This mythological feature holds a special position at the heart of Chinese mythology and astrology, as a symbol of virtue, grace, and rebirth. The vermilion bird is often tied to the death and rebirth cycle. This mythical animal is known for rising from its ashes, representing immortality, transformation, and the ability to emerge stronger from adversity. In Chinese mythology, the vermilion bird is described as an incredible, beautiful creature with gorgeous colored feathers and an endearing song. It is a symbol of harmony and beauty, as well as nobility and high virtue. Together with the dragon, the vermilion bird is often seen to symbolize marriage and marital harmony. The dragon stands for the masculine and yang energy, while the bird represents the feminine and yin energy, jointly symbolizing a perfect balance and joyful union. To be blessed by the bird's presence is regarded as an extremely hopeful sign, indicating the dawning of peaceful times, prosperity, and success. According to many traditions, the vermilion bird is also seen as a good luck messenger. In feng shui, stressing the south side of a house can bring out the bird's qualities, promoting joy, success, and prosperity for the inhabitants. The white tiger of the west, known as Bai Hu in Mandarin, is one of the four mythological creatures revered in Chinese mythology, representing one of the four cardinal points. This mythical entity has a very prominent role in Chinese culture, being associated with qualities such as protection, courage, and nobility. The white tiger is regarded as a powerful and protective guardian, capable of warding off evil and shielding those who are entitled to his watch. It represents the courage and strength required to face life's challenges. In Chinese mythology, the tiger is often associated with strength and vital energy. It epitomizes unwavering determination and perseverance, traits that are essential for overcoming obstacles and achieving goals. The white tiger's majestic posture and commanding presence inspire respect and admiration. Like all the four heavenly creatures, the white tiger has a role to play in maintaining balance and harmony in the cosmos. Its presence is seen as hopeful and beneficial in promoting stability and order. The black tortoise of the north, known as Xuan Wu in Mandarin, is one of the four mythological creatures in Chinese cosmology, representing the cardinal points. This mythological entity has a significant role in Chinese culture, offering qualities such as wisdom, protection, and longevity. The black tortoise is viewed as a wisdom and knowledge symbol. It represents the ability to withstand the test of time and accumulate experience over the centuries. In Chinese mythology, the turtle is associated with longevity and stability. Its peaceful and enduring nature symbolizes the ability to overcome adversity and stand strong when faced with hardship. The black tortoise is perceived as a powerful guardian, protecting those under its care. Its presence is seen as a shield against evil and a provider of safety and protection. The black tortoise of the north has a major influence on Chinese culture, being revered in several forms of art, literature, and spiritual practices. The four heavenly symbols shaped numerous aspects of ancient Chinese architecture, philosophy, martial arts, and cultural practices, all reflecting the harmony between human beings, the earth, and the cosmos. They encapsulate the core beliefs of the nature-humanity nexus, playing a vital role in Chinese culture and spirituality.